Hi everyone, this is Mike from Herbert-ABS with another Learning Series video. In this video, I'm going to show off one of our newer developments, the implementation of cargo density calculations within HECSTAB. API and ASTM tables give an industry standard way to define a standard density and then take the measured temperature to calculate an actual density from that situation. We've had these tables available in CargoMax for quite some time, but with this development, we now have the full cargo calculation capabilities included in HECSTAB as well. I'm starting with our VLCC model loaded in HECSTAB, and I've gone ahead and created a simple full cargo load condition. I've already created a simple column set for my cargo tanks to demonstrate, the key columns being the cargo name column, the temperature column, and the density and weight columns. As you can see from my cargo name column, I've already selected a cargo for each tank, the Alaskan crude cargo, which I've previously created. I want to note the density here for number one cargo tank center, 0.939 metric tons per cubic meter. That is the density calculated for Alaskan crude at the temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. If I change the temperature, let's say degrees to 40 degrees Celsius, we can see the density and weight update and change accordingly. That's the cargo calculation at its very simplest. Now, let's look at how to manage and define cargoes. In my Tools ribbon, I can click on the Edit and Assign Cargo icon, and that will bring up the cargo library window as I can see here. I've got one cargo defined, the Alaskan crude, but let's go ahead and define a couple more. I'll start by pressing the Cargo Edit Library button, which brings up the Cargo Library Editor. I've got four icons here in the File menu, which will allow me to save, import, open, and create new cargo library definition files. The next block over is my cargo definition, and this is where I can add a new cargo. Let's go ahead and start there. I can click the icon, and I can see the various options and methodologies that I have available for various types of cargoes. For now, I'll choose a pretty simple one and a pretty standard one, API Table 6A, Generalized Crude Oils using API and Fahrenheit temperatures. Once I select that, I've got my new item in the list, and if I go to the Properties tab here, I can actually change things. I'll change the name to Sample 6A. I'll assign a color, let's say orange, that's what will appear in the graphics, and let's give it a base API gravity of 25. So now I've created a sample 6A cargo. Let's do that again, this time maybe with a different table. Let's say 54B. This is going to use a standard density and Celsius measurements. Again, I can change the name. We'll call this sample 54B. We'll give it a color. This time I'll choose yellow, and I'll give it a standard or base density of 0.81. Once I'm done, I can hit OK, and I now have the cargoes listed in my cargo library, and now I can go about assigning them to the tanks I want to use. Very simply, I can take the cargo name column, double click on an item, and use the drop down to pick an item. I can select multiple items, hit F2 to get the drop down, and select the item from there as well. I can select multiple items, let's say here, click up on the cargo library, select the cargo I want here, and hit Assign Cargo. You can see the graphics, the colors are all giving me an indication of which cargoes are assigned to which tanks. So now I've got Alaskan crude in some tanks, sample 54B in some tanks, and sample 6A in some tanks. All of these calculations will be giving me the density based on the temperature I've entered, and thus give me the corresponding weight. That's all the time we have in this video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching this learning video. For more information, please visit us at www.herbert-abs.com or email us at info@herbert-abs.com.